We don't have businesses, we can't have teams, we can't employ the top talent if we do not have the revenue coming in. So it's important that we focus on those revenue producing activities. I want you to figure out, by saying yes to those 5 things, what did you have to delay? What did you have to delegate? Or what just plain didn't get done? Because if you, the leader, throw your strategy aside and continue to say yes, your team will follow you. Leaders that always say yes create a burnout culture. Leaders and teams and business owners that they've done give the team permission to say no. No isn't negative. No is a way to protect our time and our energy and especially our focus. Hey everyone, welcome to the episode today. Do you struggle with saying no? Saying no protects our time and our energy. And if you are struggling where every request seems like an emergency, every single meeting on your calendar feels like it's mandatory, this episode is for you. We are going to unpack the reasons why you, as a business owner, as a leader of an organization, need to understand the power of saying no. Why do we not say no? I was journaling this morning and some things came up. I think we don't say no because we feel like we're going to damage relationships. We don't want to let anybody down in the organization. Or another one here, we're going to lose out on an opportunity. And when that becomes a behavior, a norm, it can impact not only our business growth, our time, and our energy, but most importantly, our focus. So today, we're going to talk about strategies to help you be able to say no so you can protect those things. Before we get going, subscribe to the channel for me. Absolutely free. It allows us to grow this channel, to get it out to as many people as we possibly can, and continue to offer this content for absolutely zero cost and extreme value. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and as always, it's the think, do, be model, the 3 points that we're going to go over when it says, or when we're talking about saying no. And first, we got to change our mindset. We have to understand that when we say no, what's that cost? And this morning, every time we say yes to a meeting, every time we say yes to another opportunity, every time we say yes to somebody, it costs us our time, our energy, and our focus. And those are things as business owners, time is money. Time is our ability to grow our businesses. That's how we grow businesses, is we have to free up time on our schedules, in our day, and especially in our minds. So the one thing why we talked about this that I believe that I don't say no to things is I'm a people pleaser. I do not want to let people down. It took me a long time to understand the power of saying no. And I quickly learned that I didn't have enough time in the day to do all the things that I needed to do that I was saying yes to, and I was letting people down. So it was the exact opposite of what I thought I was doing by pleasing people, helping them out. And I ended up having to cancel because I had things that were just booked solid, overlapped, something would run over, and pretty soon I'd be backed up and I'd have to reschedule and kick the can down the road. So that I immediately squashed that belief. The other one, avoid conflict. Business owners and leaders, entrepreneurs, you have to have a high pain tolerance. You got to go into business, into leadership, knowing that there is going to be conflict. And managing that conflict is important. So if you use yes as a way to avoid conflict, you're just delaying that. And again, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but that conflict is going to come back. And then the last one here is fear of missing out. I think it was important for me to understand that saying no, I really wasn't missing out on opportunities. It allowed me to focus on the things that were on my plate that I was committed to. And we're going to go through some applications here in just a sec and some exercises that will allow us to realize what's important and what we need to say yes to versus what we need to say no to. So saying yes doesn't free us up. It just doesn't. It may seem like the short-term solution, but long-term wise, it will cost us. And then it gives up focus. And for me, focus is mental energy. Focus is the things that I need to do to grow my business, to grow my teams, and ultimately to make money. We don't have businesses. We can't have teams. We can't employ the top talent if we do not have the revenue coming in. So it's important that we focus on those revenue producing activities, and saying yes to everything doesn't allow us to do that. So John, you've told me what it is. You've told me why we say yes. What am I going to do about it? 2 things I've written down here. And again, these practical applications are based on my 2 decades of experience working with teams, working with leaders and organizations, building teams. So here, when we address retaining and hiring, what are things that we can do that free up our time and allow us to say no? The first one, opportunity cost audit. In this, I want you, get out your journals, get out a sheet of paper, or write this down, because I want you to do this. It's very important for us to evaluate the last 5 things we said yes to. Write them down. And then I want you to figure out, by saying yes to those 5 things, what did you have to delay? What did you have to delegate? Or what just plain didn't get done? That will help you realize that maybe you should have said no to 2, 3. Maybe you should have said no to all 5 of those things. Whatever that looks like, what did you have to delay? What did you have to delegate? Or what just plain didn't get done because you said yes, your last 5 things. So opportunity cost audit is really powerful when we start looking back at what we are saying yes to. And then the yes to no ratio. And here, I want you to realize that saying yes to high opportunities, to those things that yield value, is the right thing to do. When we say no to the things that don't yield value, that don't bring high opportunity to our businesses, we're doing the right thing. And it just seems negative when we use the word no, but we are protecting our focus. We're protecting our mental energy and our time by saying no. So those 2 activities are going to help understand the real cost, because that opportunity cost, those are things that we couldn't focus on, that we should focus on as the leaders and as business owners. So the second topic we're going to talk about here is the reframe. Reframing no, saying no, as a leadership tool and not rejection. Back to what I was saying earlier, that I felt like I was letting people down, but in the end, I was letting them down anyways. It wasn't the yes or the no. It was the fact that I didn't have time to dedicate to whatever they were asking me to do in the first place. So no doesn't shut doors. And I highlighted that and I circled it 2 times. I originally thought that I needed to be a jack of all trades and more experience was good for me. But what I found out as I've ran businesses, I've worked with organizations, maintaining that hyper focus in everything else that gets in the way, saying no to, allows us to keep those doors open, and it will allow us to open more doors in the future. So saying no to wrong opportunities not only keeps you focused as the leader, as the business owner, but keeps our businesses and our organizations and teams focused as well. So it's not rude. It's not disrespectful. We actually, in turn, when I say no to a service that somebody wants, or maybe even a coaching opportunity, I will say no to because it's just not the right fit. I'm respecting their time, and I'm respecting the fact that they're going to spend money on those services. And I don't have the time to dedicate to adding full value to that individual. So it's not disrespectful. It actually, in turn, if you look at it as time and money saving them, it is very respectful to say no. Try it on. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. So what are some things that we can do here? I always like to say no with options. And an example of this is Hey, John, I need you to attend a meeting in the morning on whatever project that they're working on. I simply say, I can't attend, but Jim's going to attend to my place. And Jim knows just about as much as the project as I would. And then that way, if there's anything there that he needs to back brief me on, he's good. So it's that no with options. Hey, I cannot help you. My schedule, my calendar, my time is already full, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you the number, I'm going to give you the name of a couple people that I would recommend. So it's that no with options. It allowed me, when I first started saying no, to at least have a peace of mind that I was still helping those individuals, but I was protecting my focus. So the other thing here is a vision filter, and this is one of our frameworks. This is a component of our lead framework that we coach on and we teach on, is alignment. And I found this with a lot of senior leaders in organizations, a lot of big organizations that I was working with, 5,000, and they would spend a lot of time on the strategic plan. I would come in, I would help them develop. If they didn't have a mission and vision statement, we would go through that. We go through the core values. We develop a great strategic plan, 2 to 3 year strategic plan. And then what would happen? It would go on a shelf. They would check that box. Yep, I got a strategy. But then when it came to decisions in the organization, they never used that strategy as a filter to say no. And so that activity is very important. That strategy for businesses needs to drive everything from decisions, from who you hire, from your organizations, from who you partner with. I could go on and on and on how we can use that strategy as a filter to either say yes or no. So those are two ways that we can reframe no and use that as a leadership tool. The last one we're going to talk about, as always, so we've identified the way that we have to think differently about saying no. What are the things that we're going to do? We're going to use no as a leadership tool. And now this being part. So how are we going to integrate it into the culture? That starts with modeling. The team is watching how you protect your time. Everybody, not just your team, depends on what level of the organization. Everybody below you that you have influence on is watching how you protect your time. So if you're on the phone after hours responding to emails, they are going to feel like as if they have to do that. They're going to say yes to responding to that email. They're not going to protect their time and their energy. If you're squirreling and you're saying yes to every single opportunity and every single customer that puts a shiny object in your face or vendor, what are they going to do? They're going to say yes to everybody coming in, knocking on their door, calling them, trying to sell them an opportunity, trying to sell them that new SaaS or that new software that's going to revolutionize your business. Does it fit? Go back to the filter within the strategy of the organization. Because if you, the leader, throw your strategy aside and continue to say yes, your team will follow you. The other piece here, leaders that always say yes create a burnout culture. Back to the phone analogy. If you are constantly answering text, answering emails at all hours of the night, you don't have good boundaries. Remember, this season is all about boundaries and saying no. We got to create those guardrails. We have to create guardrails to say enough is enough, because if we burn people out, the only one that's going to be left is you. And if we're the only ones left in the organization running our business, you better hope that you have created good enough boundaries saying no, that you are very laser focused on what you need to do to make revenue so you can grow back that business. Because I don't know any business that doesn't want to scale, that doesn't want to grow, that doesn't want to create more revenue producing opportunities. So here, a leader that says yes creates a burnout culture. Let's prevent that at all costs. So how do I do that, John? Here's a couple applications. And this seems simple. A lot of this stuff is not rocket science. It's just proven ways that I've experienced leaders and teams and business owners that they've done give the team permission to say no. Now, it seems crazy. I know. You're out there and you're thinking, John, I'm not going to give anybody permission to tell me no. Back to that modeling. If they can't say no to you, do you think they're going to say no to a customer or to somebody knocking on their door, maybe even offering them an opportunity in their company? That's a hard question to answer. Give them permission to say no. And you do that through modeling your ability to say no. No, we're not going to do that right now. That's a great idea. That's a great opportunity. Right now, we're going to run, we're going to drive, we're going to go as fast as we can at this strategy. And if we have to pivot, we're going to pivot. But right now, that's the goal. That's the finish line. Let's go get it done. And then the second piece here, I no longer attend meetings that don't have a clear purpose and a clear agenda. I've created and I've coached my team, leaders, organizations. When we have meetings, we need to, one, ensure that the right people are in the room. If they're not, we stop the meeting until we get the right people in there. We may have to delay it, but I would rather delay it than have an hour-long meeting or however long that meeting goes and just go around in circles. It's like you're in a holding pattern and you just keep on going and going in that holding pattern and you never land the plane. Have you been in those meetings? I have. So one of the things I require for every single meeting is a purpose. And then I want to also understand the process of how that meeting is going to be run. Are we expected to make a decision? Is it a brainstorming session where we're going to bring ideas to the table? That's the preparation piece. So purpose, process, and preparation, the 3 P's to my meetings, very important. It allows us to build a culture to make sure that we're not wasting anybody's time. And if you don't see yourself fitting into that purpose, process, and prep, it's a no for me. It's a hard no. And then you can do a no with options. Hey, I'm not the right person that needs to be in this meeting. I know who is. And then tag that person. Those are 3 great strategies for you. Remember, you got to do, then you got to think differently. And then you got to be the person that says no and models no, because no isn't negative. No is a way to protect our time and our energy and especially our focus. To challenge you, implement one of these. Do it. I promise you, leave your comments. Let's get some interaction going. Ring that bell. And again, if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor. Click on that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.